Peace, peace, beloveds. Welcome to Peace Pipe TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. I am Phoenix Nadi, and this is an episode of A History Moment. We're going to be talking about Georgia Land Lottery, the Dawes Commission, and $5 Indians. Let's get into it. Between 1805 and 1833, the state of Georgia conducted 8 land lotteries, one each in 1805, 1807, 1820, 1821, 1827, and 1833, with 2 in 1832. This lottery was the disbursement of public lands in the interior of the state, which was Cherokee land, to small yeomen farmers or farmers who cultivated their own land. Georgia sold approximately 3/4 of the state to about 100,000 families and individuals for small amounts of money, some as low as $10 for the gold district or even 7 cents an acre. Listen to this firsthand account of a descendant of one of these families who won that lottery. Take a listen.
So my family was one of those families. We've got this much Cherokee in our ancestry, and they had some things to kind of back it up. There were like paintings or artifacts, sort of things to be like, oh, actually, no, we do. So imagine their surprise when we did an ancestry test and none. Zero, despite the glorious cheekbones, those not indigenous. But then where did these receipts come from to say that we did have this ancestry? It was a bit more sinister than the fam was expecting. Have you heard of the Cherokee land lotteries? I hadn't, but apparently my family won one. So when the Cherokees were ousted from their land, Trail of Tears, all of that, their land was lotteried off. My family bought into the raffle and won one of these plots of land with everything that was still on it from when the family was forcibly removed. This is why we had pictures and artifacts, things that my family just, whitewashed into our story of, oh, this is part of our history. I mean,
nope, our grandparents told us.
When they talk about appropriation, y'all,
our whole lives.
in this time of banned books and suppressing narratives that don't look good on our country, it's important that we tell our stories so that people can know the truth of what happened.
They gradually moved westward onto lands previously owned by indigenous Americans. The acquisition of this land intensified after Georgia and the United States government signed the Compact of 1802. In this, Georgia agreed to relinquish claims to Alabama and Mississippi. In exchange, the federal government paid the state $1.25 million, which was used to settle disputed Yazoo land claims, and promised to remove the remaining Creek Indians from Georgia's borders. The War of 1812 helped to eliminate the Creeks from the state. The land was taken by force and dispersed through lottery systems to thousands of Georgian families. By 1820, all the cultivation that was taking place needed laborers to toil the land. Who do you think they used to do that? You guessed it. Enslaved so-called African Americans or Negroes, or should I say those Creeks, aka Muskogee, who made up 44% of Georgia's population. The Cosetta, the Coweta, Aricas, Cousas, just to name a few. All mother tribes to the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Natchez, etc. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 authorized the President Andrew Jackson to grant unsettled lands west of the Mississippi in exchange for Indian lands within existing state borders. While many tribes went peacefully, the Cherokee were forcefully moved west. Approximately 4,000 died in this move, which became known as the Trail of Tears. As many already know, the Trail of Tears was an ethnic cleansing and forced displacement of over 60,000 people of the 5 civilized tribes between 1820 and 1850 by the U.S. government. The tribes affected were the Seminole, Creek, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and the Cherokee. In about 1838, the Cherokee arrived in Oklahoma, Indian Territory. Sadly, many died because of the harsh conditions while traveling. At this point, we are going to get into the Dawes Act of 1887. I would like to read to you a portion of the milestone documents from National Archives. Approved on February 8, 1887, an act to provide for the allotment of land and severity to Indians on the various reservations, known as the Dawes Act, emphasized severity, the treatment of Native Americans as individuals rather than as members of tribes. Federal Indian policy during the period of 1870 to 1900 marked a departure from early policies that were dominated by removal, treaties, reservations, and war. The new policy focused specifically on breaking up reservations and tribal lands by granting land allotments to individual Native Americans and encouraging them to take up agriculture. It was reasoned that if a person adopted white clothing and ways and was responsible for their own farm, they would gradually drop their Indianness and be assimilated into white American culture. Then it would no longer be necessary for the government to oversee Indian welfare in the paternalistic ways it had previously done, including providing meager immunities with American Indian treated as dependents. On February 8, 1887, Congress passed the Dawes Act, named for its author, Senator Henry Dawes of Massachusetts, also known as the General Allotment Act. The law authorized the president to break up reservation land, which was held in common by the members of a tribe, into small allotments to be parceled out to individuals. Thus, Native Americans registered on a tribal roll were granted allotments of reservation land. To each head of a family, 1/4 of a section. To each single person over 18 years of age, 1/8 of a section. To each orphan child under 18 years of age, 1/8 of a section. And to each other single person under 18 years now living or who may be born prior to the date of the order of the president directing an allotment of the lands embraced in any reservation, 1/16 of a section. The rest of the document is provided here in this video. Please pause and read for yourself. At this time, discrimination caused many copper-colored indigenous Americans to be rejected due to the color of their skin and features that were so-called Negro-like. This even took place with Native Americans that looked to have Negro features. If you are fortunate enough to have your genealogy done, and we do offer a genealogy service, you may stumble across documents of court transcripts of those who were trying to receive their land allotments. A lot of times they were rejected and denied due to their color of their skin. I myself have been able to discover some of those documents from my family. With the land allotments and benefits being given to the indigenous Americans comes opportunistic white men who want to gain access to the land and food rations. These people exploited the Dawes commissions and government agents with $5 if they were willing to turn a blind eye and register them as Native Americans on the Dawes roll. They and their offspring, therefore, were fraudulently enrolled in the tribes and gained access to the land allotments and benefits with this distinction. This is where the term $5 Indian came from. Many of these white families mixed in with the indigenous Americans, adding to the Native American population, later giving majority of the land and rights to this mixture of Europeans and Native Americans' new culture. The U.S. government then tried to use blood quantum to determine who exactly was a Native American. This happened without great success. Thank you so much for watching Peace Pipe TV, A History Moment. Please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you're up on our uploads and our lives. Peace.